What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's get a little spicy, okay? Because we have to get into all things Real Housewives of Orange County. They dropped the seating chart for the reunion, and I'm unimpressed. But we got to talk about it, okay? So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So let's get into it. So first up, it looks like they filmed the reunion on October the 9th, which would have been last Thursday. Shouts out to Queens of Bravo because they reposted Andy's picture of himself. He took a selfie of himself with the cards that say The Real Housewives of Orange County. And they captioned the picture saying The Real Housewives or RHOC reunion is currently filming. So they filmed on Thursday. With this picture being posted, next thing you know, they posted the reunion seating chart, and I don't like it. I do not like it, okay? And I want to go over the seating charts that I made that made more sense to me, but let's get into the official one. So we always know Andy is sitting in the middle. On the left-hand side, you have Tamra, Gina, Heather, and Katie, which I don't get why Gina is second chair. And I don't get why Katie is last. Heather's placement makes sense to me, and so does Tamara. But Gina and Katie, to me, should be switched. Then on the right hand side, you have Jen, Emily, Shannon, and Gretchen. Jen being first chair doesn't make sense to me, and Shannon being third chair doesn't make sense to me. And I think their placements should be swapped because Tamara and Shannon feuded the whole entire season. And Tamara was fighting with Shannon, Gretchen, and Jen, but not enough with Jen for Jen to be first chair unless we're going to see a big blow up between Tamara and Jen. So this is the official seating chart posted by Bravo TV. Now, the one that I made two. So initially, I thought that Katie was going to be first chair, then Tamara, and then I had Heather being third and Gina being last. On the left hand side. On the right hand side, I had Shannon being first chair, Jen being second chair, Emily being third, and Gretchen being last. But then when the season continued on, because we didn't see Katie the whole entire season, I was like, she can't be first chair. So I made another one where I have Tamara being first chair, Katie is second, Heather is third, Gina is last, and then on the opposite end of the couch or the opposite side of the couch, I have Shannon being first chair, Jen being second chair, then Emily being third, and Gretchen being last. That made these two charts that I made make more sense to me than what we got with Bravo. Like, it's annoying. So next, y'all, let's continue on with the reunion. So it looks like Katie had a couple of Instagram posts about the reunion as well as Gretchen. So the first one I saw was by Bravo Snark Side, and it was a screenshot of what Katie posted in her Insta story where she said today's home, and the picture was a picture of a gutter. And I said, I guess she got gutter at the reunion. But what I thought was interesting, or more interesting than Katie's picture, was what Bravo Snark Side posted as the caption, where they was like, is the reunion filming today? Also, Katie, why did you just block me today? You were literally in my inbox a couple of days ago. So it's looking like Katie has been blocking a lot of bloggers who have been critical of her this season, because I will say Bravo Snark Side to me has been somewhat fair in their critique of Katie. Like, it hasn't been outright malicious, but they have been pointing out the inconsistencies in Katie's story, and they've been pointing out how it's really weird that Katie is cool with Tamara when Tamara's the one that started the Katie takedown. So I don't know if Katie saw that and got annoyed by it, but I wonder why she blocked them, because they haven't been like malicious. They've just been giving commentary. But we move on. So the next post that Bravo Snark Side posted was from both Katie and Gretchen, and they said this: Gretchen and Katie both post after reunion filming. So Gretchen posted, "Today was a great day. Hashtag feeling grateful." So then Katie posted a picture of her at her dressing room trailer, and she has at Garrison Women, at Julie the Brand. What a day. Thank you for all the love. So it seems as though Gretchen and Katie are both feeling like the reunion vindicated them in some way, or they felt like they held their own. But I feel like one of them is lying. And I don't know which one is lying. And the reason why I say that is because Katie posted that she took it there, that she went into the gutter. But you have Gretchen saying that she's grateful for that day, i.e. the reunion. So I'm like, either somebody's going to be vindicated or maybe they held their own. I don't know, but I don't believe, like, I don't trust Gretchen or Katie. So I don't know who to believe, okay? But let's move on. So the next thing I want to talk about is Vicki and her thoughts on Heather. So there was a clip that was going around on, I think, either Friday or Saturday, but I saw it yesterday, of Vicki's podcast called My Friend, My Soulmate, My Podcast. And they were asking her, I think it was her co-host and another gentleman was on the show, asking her about Heather. Now this was posted by, it used to be No Smoke No More, then they went to by Hello Drama, and now they're called Housewife Hub. I need them to stop changing their name, because you know we cite our sources over here, but now they go by Housewife Hub. But they reposted the clip and it says this: Vicki Gunvalson says Heather Dubrow doesn't fit in with OC cast because of her politics. She does not fit into Orange County. She's very liberal. Orange County is a Republican conservative county. And then they said the source was My Friend, My Soulmate, My Podcast. Now let me play the clip for you guys.
Dubrow should be on Beverly Hills. That's what we need to ask Vicki. Should Dubrow be on Beverly Hills?
She does not fit into Orange County. She's very liberal. Orange County is a Republican conservative county. How do I know? I speak to the women and men in Orange County. We know who are
actually. That's an interesting question. Do you think that? I mean, this is maybe a little too controversial for a lighthearted podcast, but when it comes to groupings of women, what in your housewife opinion, what happens when there's massive differences in political opinions?
We typically don't talk about it.
Yeah, you say I, but obviously.
But it's very clear, and Kelly Dodd is very clear on speaking about it outwardly. I don't, but it's very clear where others interior are coming from.
Yeah.
You know?
From a production standpoint, I've said this too, it is very weird kind of to watch her film and then completely break the fourth wall. They don't even pretend she has anything. Like she literally films in LA. Like the women have.
So she just goes to Orange County to film with them.
Pretty much, like literally for
driver.
A little cast trip. Like some of the girls went to Temecula, the other ladies.
Oh, I saw bits and pieces of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, the other thing is that it's like I think a lot of people watch Housewives because of the extravagance of the life.
Right.
So watching people resent someone who's much wealthier than that's not a fun storyline. I don't think.
Yeah.
And it's a weird undertone.
I don't resent anything that they have built and have inherited and all that stuff. I don't resent it. She just doesn't fit in.
She doesn't fit in. Yeah.
No, I mean,
and it's obvious because that first season or second season when she came back, they kind of, I mean, ostracized is a harsh word, but they certainly made her feel like you are not one of us. But it's just so bizarre because we're watching the show because we want to see these extravagant ways of life.
So I would really like to hear you guys' thoughts about this, because I see both sides in this conversation. And the co-hosts that were talking to Vicki, they brought up good points too, where it's like they have broken the fourth wall, and we know that Heather does not live in Orange County. She actually lives in LA. She bought a home in Beverly Hills. So it's like you're not even living in the area in which the show is supposed to be based on. I've seen other people say, well, Heather is too wealthy for this group. She needs to go to Beverly Hills. And one of the co-hosts brought up, like, it is kind of crazy to see these women chastise Heather about her wealth and things of that nature, but that's the purpose of this show, which I don't disagree with, because it is weird seeing Tamra, Emily, and Gina make slick comments about Heather's wealth when, like, that's the purpose of the show. And then when Vicki brings up, well, Orange County is a very conservative county, and she knows this because she lives there. She speaks to people in the community. She brings up Kelly Dodd and how unhinged she is and how very open she is about her views and things of that nature, her political views, and how Vicki's like, I don't speak about mine, because that is what a lot of people have been taught, especially in Vicki's generation. So I get what Vicki is saying, and I do think they give valid critiques and points for their argument. But then I'm also like, no, I like Heather on Orange County. I like how Heather is liberal and very open about her children being a part of the LGBTQIA community and how she supports them and loves them. Like, you need them, the people who watch this show need to see that. They need to see it so they know you need to love your children no matter what, no matter the county you're in. So I do think it's important that Heather's there. Also, I want to see wealthy people live their lives. Like, I don't want to see Gina, with no furniture in her house, just moving into a starter home. I want to see Heather and her fabulous houses. That is what we watch Real Housewives for, is to see the aesthetic, the glamour, give something for us to be aspirational about, So I get the argument, but also shut up, Vicki. But y'all, give me your thoughts because I would like to hear them. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the after show, because I saw 3 clips that actually piqued my interest and I want to get into them. So y'all know I'm going to speed them up a little bit. But the first one is about Katie and how everyone felt about Tamra meeting up with Katie.
I'm extremely happy I did that meetup with Tamra, because not only does it feel good that somebody's reaching out, even if it's because we have something in common now, but that somebody believes me. Gretchen lied and said you drugged her. And Slade said, tell Katie to stick to the story. Tell her not to waver. That's the nail in her coffin.
Wait, what? I wanted to know what else was said, how it was presented.
But why would you believe anything that comes out of Katie's mouth?
Because I think there's certain things you just don't pull out of your asshole. You know what I mean?
I think she pulls a lot out.
I think everything that comes out of her mouth,
she pulls out of her asshole.
I do honestly believe that Gretchen, like you said earlier, I think Gretchen absolutely told her that.
Her saying, I believe you, that meant a lot to me. Because this whole time it's been, you're a liar.
Katie, nobody believed you, not even the lie detector test. You failed every question.
She's like, I believe you. And I'm like, good, because it's the fucking truth.
You don't have to sit across from her. I can tell you what she's going to say. She's going to tell you whatever you want to hear.
Well,
so there's no point in sitting across from her.
I wanted to hear what she had to say, because at that point, I'm like, if these things are being said about me, this is stuff, even it's clearly a lie, but if it's being put out there, like, people would believe that.
Yes, but here's what doesn't make sense to me. What Katie did is 1,000,000 times worse than what Gretchen did. The difference is, to me, is that Gretchen's having a conversation in a private setting with some friends and she's talking shit, which we have done numerous times. However, Katie is the one who took that conversation, went to someone who has a platform,
and that's what I wanted,
told them about it.
After Katie sat down with Kiki Monique, Tamara's going to go and meet with Katie and take something that she's saying is the truth?
I agree. I didn't get that at all.
That just shows you how determined and obsessed I think that Tamara is to get some information that's going to hurt Gretchen.
Katie has nobody, and Tamara is so needing anything against you, and she knows Katie came for you, so that is an obvious friendship that Tamara is going to pursue. That's how Tamara operates. Unfortunately, now Katie's going to be collateral damage because Katie needs someone. And, it probably feels good to have somebody within the friend group reaching out to her. And, God, I would just tell her to be careful.
I'm extreme.
So here's my thing. I understand Katie being appreciative and grateful that somebody actually started to believe her and, reached out to her to film, because it seems as though Katie still wanted to film and be a part of the show, but nobody was willing to film with her because, the word on the street is that the ladies band together and decided that they did not want to film with Katie any longer. But if I was Katie, I would be weary of Tamara, because Tamara is the one that started the onslaught of people coming at your neck. She's the one that brought up you having a conversation with a blogger. You lied about that. She's also the one that held on to the story about you filming Shannon. And she's the one that told Heather that you went to Kiki Monique. So if I was her, I would be careful. But I do understand Katie and Tamara now have a common enemy, which is Gretchen. Okay, so then we get to Emily and Gina and Tamara. I will say this. I understand Emily's frustrations with Katie, but it also feels like she's unnecessarily angry with Katie in a way that I'm like, girl, you weren't even this mad at Tamara, who was calling you names and fat shaming you. Then you have Kelly Dodd, who was talking trash about you and your husband, and you went off on that lady. And it's just like, you should be able to get over whatever happened between you and Katie. Like, it wasn't that bad. you know? So it just feels like Emily is just holding on to this, you know? Then we get to Shannon and Heather. I understand where Shannon is coming from, where it's like, well, it's crazy that Tamara is seeking out Katie when she's the one that was leading the campaign saying this lady is a liar and shouldn't be, you know, within this group. So it's like the only reason you're now finally giving her a chance is because you two have a common enemy, which is Gretchen. And then lastly, Gretchen and Jen. I get what Jen is saying this is typical Tamara and she hopes Katie is being careful. I do too. You know, I don't really see it for Katie, but I'm also like, she's not the worst housewife, but if I was her, I would be worried, like clicking up with Tamara, because Tamara will discard people quickly. So the next clip I want to play for you guys is Gretchen pretty much defending why she wanted Slade to confront Tamara with her.
I love that my man is willing to like come defend his woman. I find it very sexy.
I'm gonna go ask Tamara what information she got about us with Slade.
What? Wait, what? No, I think you need to go by yourself.
It's about Slade, so I'm having Slade go.
I love it.
It's icky for Slade to get involved.
This group is about women's relationships. It's about what's going on between Tamara and Gretchen.
When the men get involved, it doesn't bode well.
So many of the girls in our friend group will say the husband shouldn't be involved.
Right.
Okay, and that's okay. I get that. This is a girl friend group. But when you make a point to talk about your husband or my husband, then that husband is his own being and has his own thoughts and feelings and is going to react in his own way.
And by the way, the only thing that's so silly about that whole comment, is there any friend group you know that none of the girls ever talk about their partners or their life or what's going on at home? Like, that is just part of any friend group. You're going to have conversations about your husband or what's going on at home or your kids or whatever. So for them to be like so shocked, like, why is Slade involved? It's like, because it's part of my life.
You said his name 37 times,
exactly.
so he's involved.
I think if the women are talking about the men, then
that's involvement.
That's involvement. They're involving it.
Anytime I talked to Gretchen on the phone, it would be on speaker, and he would always put his 2 cents when I thought I was just talking to Gretchen. And when Gretchen and I were still friendly, he would call Matt from his phone and say, hey, Gretchen wants to talk to Katie. And then Matt would be like, well, why are you calling my phone? So I would talk to Gretchen on Matt's phone, and she would talk to me on Slade's phone.
Could you imagine one of our husbands? Like, no. So
okay,
it's
but
just
the point
silly.
is, they will make the comment that their husbands never react. But
Whatever.
I don't think that's a fair blanket statement
No,
because
it's not.
the men are not the same man.
No.
And I actually have to tell you, there are times when I'm like, Ryan, sit
Yes,
on
for
your
sure.
pants, or stop using the
For
clown emoji.
sure.
Don't use the rat emoji
For
one
sure.
more time.
We've had this conversation
But
so many times. We're like,
that
we're going to
man-
kill him.
But that man will back me
1,000.
and our family and our home at any time.
See the hurt that she's dealing with on my behalf. And it's definitely been a struggle for me to know Jen's come home in tears many a night.
And I'm like, I'm kind of grateful that
You know
I
what?
don't have a man that's like,
I personally...
Gretchen is annoying me because the whole, it's so sexy when my man defends me. Does your man have a job? What, does he clock in? Does he pay bills? Because that's what's sexy to me. Okay. This just wasn't a good look for Gretchen or Slade. Like, her screaming, run, bitch, run, made her look cringy AF. And also on Housewives, the narrative and the notion for everyone who watched this show is normally husbands should be seen and not heard. And I also understand it's kind of like they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Like, on one hand, we want them to, you know, stick up for their wives and support them when they need to be supported. But on the other hand, we don't want them to do a lot of talking. So it is a conundrum. But it's just like, she did too much. But I do understand what Jen is saying when she's like, well, if you're talking about my husband or my man, they're an adult. They should be able to defend themselves. Yes, but we expect you to be able to wrap the girls up so eloquently and so fastly to the point where they know not to try your man ever again. What we don't expect is for you to have you and your husband chasing a woman around a party and screaming, run, bitch, run. It just wasn't a good look. So the next video that I'm going to play for you guys, and then we're going to get up on out of here, is of Emily saying that Gretchen and Tamara are basically the same person.
they have just blended into the same person because everything that...
Take that as a huge insult.
Well, I'm sorry.
This is what both you and Tamara do. You get out your phone, you pull up articles, you pull up podcasts.
It is true. I was there. I had to consistently hear stories of Gretchen telling me all this that Tamra did.
You say Tamra's a horrible person because she accused you of having an affair, and you had to spend all this money to prove that you did not, but you just accused her of having an affair.
Everything that she was accused you of doing
was what she was doing.
Were things that she was also doing and saying.
The same thing that she did to me.
So you and Tamra are the same.
No, we are far from the same.
It's like comparing apples to apples at this point. For 12 years, did you imagine?
Here's the thing about me. I really, really, really love to do a check on myself. I'm like, am I becoming like her? Oh, I really want to put myself in check.
I was told this a few times about you too, because you two were
going back
this
and back
and
and
this,
forth,
and you did this, no, but you did this.
Right.
I don't know, when you're still out with vibrators up your vajayjay,
Really?
you're screaming, yelling, and licking girls' nipples.
Oh, please! When everybody writes that you're a whore and you're losing your house and all that, should I just believe it? Why don't you come take the big-ass suitcase of all the that I put together for you? Because you don't give a about me, right?
The difference is, okay, maybe you both are bringing up stuff from the past. You are not the same person.
Right.
You can't even compare you two as women as the same person.
I only do it when she's started
says that about you.
and when she says it about me or when she started it. If you go back and watch from the very beginning of when I was in this friend group with her, she started all this with me. And so I've just gotten to the point where I'm no longer going to take it lying down.
That's fair.
This girl would do stuff on her stories about me. I'm like, I don't even think about you. I don't even know anything about you. I don't care. I hope that you're doing great. You're a mother now. Like, I was hoping she'd come back and be a totally different person.
But I can't honestly say this because I told Gretchen this. Not one time has Tamra ever said your name or brought you up.
And this is why you don't play in the mud with people too long, because eventually both of you are going to be dirty and no one's going to be able to tell the difference between who's the dirtiest. And I think Gretchen came into this season and she thought Tamra was going to be the Tamra that she's been fighting with for the past 12 years, where Gretchen has been somewhat to some people the victim and Tamra has been the aggressor. And this season, Tamra really hasn't done that much to Gretchen. Yes, has she been shady and been saying slick comments and she got into it with Gretchen? Yes, but she didn't really go overboard with cussing Gretchen out at that tactical defense class until it was brought to her knowledge that Gretchen was going around telling people that there was audio of her having sex with somebody in a studio when she was supposed to be recording music. You were the one that did the dirty thing this time, Gretchen. And I think Gretchen is having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that, like, people don't see you as the victim anymore. They see you as a willing participant to gauge in the mess with Tamra. Because now you're implementing the same tactics that Tamra has used. Like Emily said in the episode, you pulling podcasts, screenshots and stuff, she does the same thing. You're no different at this point, and you just have to sit with that. I genuinely think Gretchen thought Tamra was going to be the Tamra that she's been fighting with for the past 12 years, but I don't think she understands that Tamra is, like, she's an evil genius. She's a criminal mastermind, okay? Like, she's strategic when it comes to Housewives. You have not been on Housewives. She's been on Housewives for the past 14 years. I think we're only on for 5 seasons. I think season 3 to season 8. Well, no, season 3 to season 7, and then you had a guest appearance, I think season 8. This lady has been on this show consistently for 14 years, so she knows how viewers will view certain things. So Tamra knew when to shut up and allow Gretchen to make problems for herself, if you ask me. But that's all I got for you guys today. As always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in the comments below, subscribe, and be on the lookout for my review for Real Housewives of Orange County. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.